Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
Wait a minute.
NANI?
What the hell? Help! Help me!
Guys, Arteta's coming. Arteta's coming. And if you're a fan of football, you're probably praying for Bodø to do something to stop them, but I don't think that's gonna be enough for Arsenal, Haramball. Because, well, Bodø, honestly, they've been pretty convincing. The way they won against Inter was pretty impressive. Inter didn't really have any chance in the second leg at home. They only scored one goal and the goal was kinda lucky. It barely got through the goal line. So, yeah. Bodø play a nice football, they play as a team, a lot of the players have been playing together since the academy, the coach has been there forever. And if you watch a lot of football, well, you probably already heard about Bodø when they played against AS Roma and they won 6-2 against Mourinho Roma. And yeah, it's a team that has been growing slowly but consistently. A team that we appreciate to see in the Champions League this season, especially in a year where football is not something very, very enjoyable to watch. And it would be nice to see them in the semi-final. They play a nice football, they play as a team, you know. It would be nice, but Arteta's Haramball, it's strong this year. And Arsenal, it's not the best football they've played in the last few years, but they are winning. They know how to win this year, and well, Arteta has no excuse to not make it to the final, or at least to the semi-final, because yeah, they are not playing anyone strong. Leverkusen is 6th in the Bundesliga. They won against Olympiacos, but Olympiacos is not a team that you would expect to, well, even make it to the knockout of Champions League. So it was already something that they made it that far. After that, Sporting or Bodø, they should be able to win pretty easily as well. And then in the semi-final, they are more likely gonna face Barcelona. So let's see. But Arsenal is my favorite to make it to the semi-final on that side. And then we have Barcelona versus Newcastle. You know, playing a British team is never easy because they have the best team in Europe. So even if Newcastle is not having its best season in the recent years, Bruno Guimaraes is also injured for a long time, so we don't know if he's gonna make it to the World Cup. Barcelona should be the favorite. I don't think they would be surprised by Newcastle because, yeah, Newcastle is not very strong that year, and Lamine Yamal is coming back pretty well. Pedri came back from injury. Rafinha is also very, very good this year. He's been very consistent since last year. A very underrated player. I mean, is he really underrated? I don't know, because if you watch football, you know that Rafinha is a great player. Barcelona this year has been pretty strong. I just don't like Hansi Flick. He's a little bit overrated. I mean, he won with Bayern Munich, but you know, as a coach, it's never really hard to win with Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. And now he's putting Lewandowski on the bench. I never really understand why Lewandowski is not playing and why Ferran Torres took his spot. Like, Lewandowski is the type of player who's, you know, he can score from any position. He can really like unlock a game by himself. So he's the type of striker that you should start every game, because even though, you know, he's not going to be the most active guy, he can score anytime, and he can not just score one goal, he can score multiple goals in a game. So that's a player that, you know, should start pretty often in my opinion. And now with Hansi Flick is on the bench, I don't get it. Maybe for that phase of the Champions League he will start him, maybe he was just resting him, but you know, I'm not really fan of that decision. And then the offensive type of football, well, we hear often that offense win games, defense win championship. So I don't understand. I mean, I don't believe that they can win the Champions League playing that way. But let's see. Maybe I can be wrong. At least they have a very good team. every position except defense, where it's a little bit shaky. Kunde is not the best defender. Balde is also a bit inconsistent. Kubarsi is pretty young. So let's see. And Ahaho is also, just very inconsistent. So let's see. But Barcelona for me is the favorite, at least against Newcastle. Then you have Atletico against Tottenham. Well, again, Tottenham is a Premier League team, so you should never count them out. But Tottenham has been losing the last 4 games as we speak now. They are playing Crystal Palace tomorrow. So let's see. But with Igor Tudor, it's not much better than with Thomas Frank. So Atletico should win that game, but Atletico is also not a team you should bet on with a lot of confidence. So Tottenham could create a surprise, but anyway, I don't see any of the two teams beat Barcelona. Barcelona just won against Atletico in Copa del Rey 3-0. After losing 4-0, they almost came back and won that game. Even though they didn't beat Atletico and they didn't qualify for the final, I think they will try to get their revenge in the Champions League. So I would see a final between Barcelona and Arsenal, and then for that game I would give advantage to Arsenal because of the way they play. I think that they are pretty solid at every position, and when you're solid defensively and you can avoid taking goals and they can score like on set pieces, I think that they could win against Barcelona and qualify for the final. But we can speak about the semi-finals a little bit later in the season. To talk about the real side of the bracket, the real champion of that Champions League, well, first we have PSG-Chelsea. PSG-Chelsea is the most 50-50 game of that round of 16. Because PSG, well, technically they should be the favorite. In my opinion, PSG is the better team of the two. Last year they played a very, very impressive football. I mean, if you saw my first video, I was talking about PSG from last season as maybe one of the best teams ever. And I stand on that, but they have just not been as good as last season this year. I mean, they started pretty well, even though they had a lot of injuries at the beginning in the first half of the season. They were winning without their starting lineup. They beat Barcelona in Camp Nou without Dembele, with a lot of substitute, but they are not playing that well since the winter break. Vitinha, it feels like he played a little bit too much since last season. Then we have Fabian Ruiz, who's injured. Dembele, who also just got injured. We don't know for how long yet, but if he doesn't come back soon enough, or at least if he misses the 2 games against Chelsea, it could be pretty difficult for PSG. I don't have as much confidence on this PSG team that I had on last year's PSG team. They haven't been playing as well, so Chelsea could have a shot to beat them. Even though I'm also not the biggest fan of Liam Senior. He coached in the French league, so he knows that PSG side. He knows them pretty well. He played them pretty often, so he knows how to approach them. Let's see, but to talk a little bit more about Chelsea FC, or like I like to call it, Chelsea Football Corporation. Well, Chelsea is just a team that you never really know what to expect from. I mean, Maresca has been sacked. We don't really know why. It's been kind of weird. It came out of nowhere. Apparently, there was a lot of disagreement with him and the staff, but still, he was winning game. He was getting results. But at the end of the day, does it matter? I don't know, because with Liam Rossignol, they've been playing pretty much the same type of football, meaning no identity, just corporate football, I guess, like players with a lot of rotation. You'd never know who's gonna start. Now Estevao is injured. I don't know when he's gonna come back, but will he be in a good shape against PSG, or will he be ready against PSG? I don't know. Cucurella is also injured as of late, but he should be back to face PSG. But also, I don't know what Cucurella we will have. So a lot of question mark with the Chelsea team. We don't know what to expect from them game after game. They could be one of the best teams in Europe, but they can also be a team that is just decent. And finally, you have Joao Pedro as a striker. Joao Pedro is a very, very good striker, but we don't even know if he's going to start the game. So yeah, just a lot of rotation with the Chelsea team, just players that gets in, gets out. You never know what to expect. So they could be a trouble for PSG because, you don't know what you're going to get from them. But I would still give a slight advantage to PSG, maybe a 55-45 game. But at the end of the day, it's still very, very close. Then we have on the other side Liverpool, Galatasaray. I mean, Galatasaray, I don't think they have a shot against Liverpool. Liverpool has not been as good as last season as well, but you know, Florian Wirtz might be back, even if Florian Wirtz, in my opinion, he should receive the Gyökeres treatment, you know. He hasn't been that good with Liverpool, at least he hasn't been very, very consistent, but also he's always being sub in, sub out, so you know, there's no consistency and he cannot get his mark with that Liverpool team, I feel. Salah should be a bench. I mean, it's pretty clear that Salah should stop starting every game, but Ancelotti doesn't have what it takes to put him on the bench, so you know, he has to start him, whatever it costs. And maybe, well, I don't think that would be an issue against Galatasaray, but maybe a little bit later in the competition that could be an issue. But yeah, at the end of the day, Liverpool, you know, the favorite by far. Galatasaray is a team that has a lot of nice players, but I don't think that's going to be enough to beat Liverpool. They're not playing such a good football, and Liverpool is again a British team, so they're playing pretty well and they're very, very good. Then we have the other close matchup between Real Madrid and City. Well, City should be the favorite. They already won against Real Madrid during the league phase of the Champions League. I mean, Rudiger remember pretty well that game. They have the best chance of winning, but City also has not been very convincing recently. Same with Guardiola. Guardiola, I respect him for everything he accomplished. He's a very, very good coach, maybe the best ever. But I just don't like the way he's been coaching that City team this year. Just too much rotation. He's changing the squad every game as well. Not enough consistency. I don't like that type of coaching in football when you keep rotating player game after game. I understand sometimes you want to preserve some player and you want to rest them in order to have them perform their best. But it shouldn't happen every week. It should be done, I think, every 2-3 weeks, but not every games, because then you don't have a consistency and you don't create that chemistry between the different players. And in the case of City, even Cherki on the bench, I'm not also convinced about that idea. I don't really like the way Marmoush has been playing with City since he joined. I think sometimes he's playing a very insecure football. He is taking shots that he shouldn't. He's not dribbling as much as he was with Frankfurt. It feels like he's a little bit following the same path than Grealish did when he joined City, which I don't really like. Sometimes I feel like, you know, Guardiola is forcing players into a system when he shouldn't, but that's a conversation for later. At the end of the day, I don't think there should be an issue against Real Madrid because they have way better players. Real Madrid also have a lot of injuries with Bellingham. Mbappe should miss the first leg. Rodrigo is injured as well. So a lot of players are not there. Defensively, Real Madrid is very, very weak. Thibaut Courtois is not as good as he used to be. So yeah, I think City is the better team. They should be able to win. But again, the thing with Real Madrid is that they have Vinicius who can score a goal at any time, even though he's not consistent, he can still make a difference anytime. And then when Mbappe comes back, that's also a player that can score a goal at any time. So that's a team that could surprise City, but again, I think City is the best team. I would give them a 60-40 on that matchup. But yeah, or maybe even 65-35 to be honest. I think City is definitely better than Madrid. And finally, we have Bayern Atalanta. Atalanta won against Dortmund, which is second in Bundesliga now. Atalanta is not someone we should, you know, take it easy with. I think Bayern should approach that game pretty seriously, not with too much confidence. Even though Bayern for me is also the favorite to win that Champions League because Bayern is the team that has been the best. Musiala came back recently. Olise is a very, very underrated player. He's very, very good. Same for Luis Diaz. Very, very good on the left wing. Then they have Harry Kane, a team that is very strong at every position of the field. So Bayern for me is the best team in the Champions League with maybe Arsenal and Barcelona. So that's a team that I would see go in the semi-final. I think Bayern should be able to beat City, even though that's not going to be an easy game if they have to play them. If they play Real Madrid, that should be easier. But City, I think that wouldn't be as easy. It depends what City we get. But I would still give an advantage to Bayern Munich. And then in the semi-final, I think Bayern should be facing either PSG, I would say PSG or maybe Liverpool, because Chelsea, I'm having a hard time to see Chelsea in the semi-final, to be honest. I mean, you know what? It depends if Liverpool play with Salah in the quarterfinal or not. If Salah is not playing, maybe Liverpool has better chance. But if Salah is playing, that's gonna be a little bit complicated for Liverpool. But no, I would say Bayern Munich in the semi-final for sure. And then on the other side, that's a little bit trickier. PSG or Liverpool, maybe Chelsea, but I don't really believe it. So let's see. But yeah, that's my prediction for the semi-finals. And then we can talk about the finals a little bit later.